Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the EKU Tailgate Show. We are live here in the Colonel Courtyard on the campus of Eastern Kentucky University as we get you set for the final regular season game, hopefully not the final game of the season for the EKU football team. I'm Michael Watkins along with Howard Miller, Cuz, as he's known around these parts. And Howard, man, it is finally, I feel like for the first time really this season, we've got some football weather.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think it's going to be a great day as far as the players being able to go out and just give their all and enjoy the setting of being able to, in a sense, write their own ticket.
Yeah.
Because I think right now, and our pre-broadcast discussions was about whether or not we're in or out as far as the playoffs is concerned. And I think that in knowing that, I sense we're going to have a tremendous performance today from the fellas.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think this is the kind of game where you got to come out, put your foot on the gas, and leave it there until the final buzzer.
All day long. All day long.
Yeah, you come out and you win this game. Now, we're 11-point favorites, essentially, 10.5-point favorites going into the matchup. If you win this game by 10, good deal. It's a big deal, obviously. But if you come out and you win this game by 3 scores or more, then that's really where you can see the committee who will be making that decision kind of maybe and be impressed by what the Colonels do today. If you come out and you get on top by 3 or 4 scores and you hold on to that type of win, then the committee might be able to say, okay, the Colonels really deserve a chance. Now, later on in the broadcast, we're going to look kind of the teams that we're battling with. And when you look at the NCAA basketball tournament, you have the bubble watch. We'll kind of look at the bubble watch for the FCS playoffs, which I think will be announced tomorrow. We'll see who's in or who's not in. We know Abilene Christian is in for sure. They earned the automatic bid from the UAC conference. Colonel's right there. Tarleton State, who's a ranked team, is right there. There's a few others within the conference that also are trying to hopefully get a bid. But a win today, ultra important, a dominating win, really needed as well to try to solidify that resume, quote unquote, if you will, for the Colonels as they look to earn a postseason berth. I think a month ago, I don't think anybody thought we had a shot. But now 4 straight wins, potentially 5 straight wins is a big deal for EKU football, especially when you consider 2 of those wins were against ranked opponents and 1 of them on the road. That was the Tarleton State win a couple of weeks ago. So a lot riding on this game today. Before we kind of dive deeper into the EKU Tailgate Show, I want to talk about our guest we've got here with us today and allow him to kind of introduce himself. Now, this is your handler, right? This guy takes care of you,
He's
your bodyguard.
Okay. He's my bodyguard. Right. He cost me a lot of money, too, man. I had to hand-pick this guy,
Okay, yeah. The process was very important to kind of go through and make sure you got the right guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
But now tell us a little bit about Tad, who you've got here with us today.
Now, I'm going to let Tad tell you about himself.
Okay.
He's a student here from down in Kirksville, in that area. That's where I first met he and his family. They attend down at Full Gospel Tabernacle, and our churches, we switch out and visit each other and everything, and I guess I've known this guy 12, 13 years.
Huh? Oh, man.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
You probably got some cuz stories then, Tad, right?
Yeah.
Don't you do it.
Don't get him in trouble, right?
No. I've always known him as Reverend Miller. He comes down to my church. I go to Full Gospel Tabernacle. I'm our lead drummer, drum set player.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know he could bang on the drum. We should have brought a drum set out and had him brought us into the show.
No, Reverend Miller, he comes out to our church every so often. He'll give a couple sermons. And the first time I met him, it was me and my twin brother, Ty. He brought this little red horn, brought it to, was it at your church or was it our church you brought that to? I believe we might have been at your church, actually. But
I had been to South Africa. I was in South Africa during the World Cup when the vuvuzelas, those horns that were going, and I had brought one back, and I gave one to he and his brother, and I gave them to several people, and it was like the next time I would see the parents of the kids that I gave the horns to,
you'd be in trouble.
They would, don't you never Don't you never do that again. So I remember that. I remember giving them one of those horns.
I was just sitting there thinking, like, man, I couldn't imagine my 7- and 4-year-old with one of those things right now.
Man, they would blow them till they went to sleep. They was, you know, if you remember the World Cup at that time, the studio had to try to do something to filter out the sound.
Yeah.
Because those things, they were in sync. They were blowing the entire match, and it was hard for the audio to come across because of the sound. And so I had found a store that had they had some there in Labatzi, and I brought a case back, and lo and behold, man, those horns got me in a lot of trouble.
The inventor of those things, I'm sure he was sitting pretty right now after that one little.
He's got to be.
Yeah, that one little 2 or 3 month span where those things were flying off shelves.
Yeah, tell them about your whole name, Tad.
So I go by Tad, but my name is Tadashi.
Tadashi.
That's Japanese. Okay, yeah.
Now I don't remember the whole translate or what the translation is, but I'm sure Mom and Dad, if you're watching, you probably have it. But it's interesting being on campus with that type of name, because when I go around, I don't usually tell people. On my transcript, it's written as Tadashi, but a lot of my professors just call me Tad just because it's way easier for them to say.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But I don't dare to go out to, like, say, the dining hall or the corner and have them try to pronounce my name. I just give them Tad. But for some odd reason, they'll mess that up too. It's really weird. It's a little weird.
You talked about being on campus. You know, what is the vibe, if you will, being on campus during this football season? I mean, do you feel like there's been a lot of support from students for the football team this year?
Oh, absolutely. I believe there has been. Yeah.
You know, I think whenever the team, especially during this last, 4 or 5 game stretch, coming down the stretch, winning these last 4 games, a chance to win their 5th straight today, I think that's when, because, Howard, you've been around the program, for a while. Obviously, I've been around for the last, 12 years or so, since I was a student on campus back in the day. And we know how Colonel fans are. When the team's doing good, the support is there. But the second we have a setback, I feel like we completely it's just a giant drop off.
Yeah, it is.
We go from being 100% to, 40 or something like that. So to win these last 4 games, I really feel like the buzz around the football program and the support for the team is back up a little bit, which is obviously important when you come back home and play your final regular season game. So for you, what have you seen any difference over the last month when the team's really picked up these last 4 wins? I'm not too big of a sports guy, but I have come out to a few of the games, and the atmosphere is pretty electric. I usually sit behind the band, so I'm right. I feel like I'm right in the thick of it with, like, the students, and it's pretty amazing to see just the level of participation from the students that go here, and their love and support of our athletes. Yeah,
it's very nice to see.
And I think too, I mean, you can see how the university has taken care of the athletes, Howard. When you look at obviously the renovations to Roy Kidd Stadium now with CG Bank Field and the things they've done over the last 5-6 years there. Obviously, with what's going on with the basketball gymnasium now and Alumni Coliseum with the total renovation of it. And we've seen them transform the weight facility, the Erdman Center now being more of the training facility and where the volleyball team is playing their game. So I feel like the university and the athletics department has really turned the corner in how we protect and take care of our student athletes and make sure that when you come here, you're coming to a university that goes all in with the athletics department.
Well, going all the way back, Michael, until the period when at Old Hanger Stadium, I remember as a kid sneaking into Old Hanger Stadium, sitting on the hill down toward the end where Coach Kidd and a couple of the coaches and their families lived. We would sneak in, check it out, and then go across the street to Todd and Dupree and just hang in the windowsills on the 11th floor watching everything unfold. Because in Richmond, even back in the day of Eastern Kentucky State College, football on this campus was special.
Oh, yeah.
And especially in the, let's call it the pre-electronic days,
Yeah.
when the football games here on campus was the deal.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a period where, and I don't know how it was when you was a student, but now everybody on campus has a car.
Yeah.
And back then, you had to be an upperclassman to even have an automobile.
Oh, okay,
So,
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so that kept people from every weekend going home. Right now, we're somewhat of a transient type of university and campus. Back then, where students were pretty much on campus, it was electric, man. And compared to today, it's a whole different era. But I think in the earlier days, we had probably, I know 2, maybe even 3 parades during football season.
Oh, yeah, it's not that way now
No,
at all.
they had homecoming, they had military day, and it was another one I think that was in there. But that alone helped to just create that excitement, that enthusiasm. And now, like you say, man, if you have one fall off, they back off.
Yeah.
You gotta keep it going.
And I think too, the city has obviously grown immensely. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
back
Oh, yeah.
you know, back 20, 30 years ago, EKU football was the only show in town.
It was it.
You know, now
It was
you've
it.
got the theater and the bowling alley and you know the skating rink, and those things were
And the
around back then too.
internet. And the internet.
That's what I was going to get to. The phone and the video games and the way that you can find ways to entertain yourself now when you don't even got to leave your bedroom.
You don't have to, man.
It's a much different aspect of life and a way of life that, you know, again, 20, 30 years ago wasn't even a thought. And now here we are where you've got to compete with so much more, even just on your own campus to bring students out to. And that's one of the biggest turnabouts or, you know, turnarounds that I think collegiate sports is going to kind of deal with, where now I think the promos, like the thing that I do on the field during the game, that's important to draw students in, because if you can give them free food for a year or, you know, a $50 gift card to somewhere, it's worth them coming out to do that, to have an opportunity to win those things. Where, you know, if you just said, okay, here's the game time and we're going to kick off here, that's what drew the students out. Now you got to find ways of trying to promote the team, not only to the fans outside of campus, but to even the ones that are living here and seeing the team and the coach and all the athletes on a daily basis. You got to find a way to draw them out for the support. And I think COVID, I mean, that's something that kind of we had to find ways around that, where I don't think people are still afraid of the virus, but they're still in the back of their mind, I think, for some folks.
They're still conscientious of it.
Exactly.
Very
You
conscientious
hear somebody
of it.
cough and you're like, or
yeah.
sneeze or something. That's, what's that?
Don't let them sneeze twice.
Oh, yeah.
Or cough twice. And you look at them as if, have you got it?
Yeah,
You
exactly. Yeah, it's a lot has changed over the last 30 years, and even again in the last 3 or 4 years with the COVID and the pandemic that hit. And you look at what they do with the camera, the guitar cam, or the kiss cam you see around professional sports, which has become a thing. It's very different, but I think the university has done a great job in adapting to what they've seen and trying to bring different things in to draw a crowd. Like and they've done promos obviously for the last little while, with the service day or first responders day or youth day. They've done those things for quite some time. But now it's just not only when those folks get here, it's entertaining them even during timeouts, not only when the plays are going on.
Well, a lot of times it starts even on Friday evenings when the tailgating starts. I mean, I think now it's more than just having a game. You've got to make an athletic event a production, so to speak. It has to be a production that is reaching beyond the stadium, reaching beyond the immediate area around the occasion itself. Because, as we say, there's so many things that can take the attention from the event itself to where with the internet and the various things that can take an individual's attention away from where you would like for them to be right here at, Roy Kidd Stadium. But, back in the day, I can remember as far as television broadcasts, you might get a college game. Well, I'm telling my age. I'm 71 years old. Don't mind. Love it.
And you don't look a day over 70 and a half.
You kill me. You know that? You kill me. But anyway, back in the day, I remember when you could get one professional football game on Sunday.
Yeah.
You could get a college football game on Saturday. But now there's so much, as you said, that students, man, they can stay right in there.
And it's all right here.
Right there.
Yeah.
They can stay in their room and literally with the push of a few buttons, they can visit the world.
Yeah.
We was talking about that earlier about technology, and he was telling me about one of his classes that he was taking, and just the experience itself is really amazing.
Well, I've got 3 kids that control what I watch on TV. So a lot of times when I've got
Let me ask you this, not to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
How many TVs do you have in your house?
Well, right now, 2.
2, okay.
2. But I've got 4 that 2 of them just aren't plugged in right now. So that's where I'm at.
How many televisions does your parents have in the house?
I have one in my room. My brother's got one in his room, and my parents have one in their room, and there's one in our living room. I hardly ever use mine.
I remember when having a TV period was a luxury.
Oh,
man.
for sure.
Now every bedroom, living room,
the kitchen. Yeah, I've seen some bathrooms have them.
They do,
yeah,
man.
That's why you stay in there for so long.
It's amazing. It's amazing at how technology has just taken control of our lives.
Well, and that's what I was going to say too. We're at an age and time now where when my kids are watching Mickey Mouse or Blue or whatever the show is they're watching on TV, I'm sitting there watching a football game on my phone.
Yeah.
And as soon as it goes to commercial break, I go to a different game.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at now. I mean, you can just flip over and watch somebody else play and then come back and you've got access to every single game that you want on your phone. Now, it costs a little money, obviously, but,
it's become the norm.
It has.
Let me ask you this. And I'm going to ask both of you guys this. All right, have you ever been in a situation where your kids are talking to each other in the house, but they're using their phones?
No, mine don't have phones yet.
Well,
7, 4, and 2. But now I'll tell you this.
Well, texting,
They will. I've been in a situation where I'm sitting in the same room as somebody and texting them.
Yeah. What about you and your brother, or you and your friends? You ever be in the close proximity of somebody? But
I remember me and my brother growing up when we had first gotten email. We had first gotten a Gmail account. My mom had set my brother and I up with one, and my brother would be in another room, and I'd email him, "Hey, come to our room."
Yeah.
And he would just come over. And now we're all grown, and we look back at those and we laugh. It was good memories.
Well, I'll be sitting there. Me and Gage will be in the office, and I'll try to get Gage to buy lunch. I don't want to ask him right there, so I'll be like, "Hey, Gage, you buying lunch today?" And he always says no. So
I wish I could turn the camera on him right now.
And to back to what you said earlier, sometimes me and my brother we would have small conversations, whether it was just even if it was talking about a girl, for instance.
I get you in trouble now.
Check him out. Hey, she cute.
Your mother might be watching.
Yeah, don't tell her.
Be careful.
Be
careful. And your mic is live.
we would be just talking about something random, and be like, "Hey, what'd you think about this, or this?" And he would be sitting right across from me.
Yeah. Well, that's just the day and age that we're living in now.
Yeah,
I tell you what,
it is.
We got a big football game in Richmond today. Kickoff for EKU and UNA about an hour and 10 minutes or so away. We'll step aside for our first commercial break here on the EKU Tailgate Show. When we come back, Cuz and I will dive deeper into the matchup, and we'll talk about this senior class, which is so important to Coach Wells. We're going to play a clip from him from this past Monday's Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, where he talked about the importance of this senior class, guys like Mike Smith Jr., Peyton Collins, Ryan Jackson, and obviously there's more, but this class, which has been around since he took over for Mark Elder 4 or 5 years ago, and just what they mean to him and to this program. We'll talk about that, and we'll play that clip when we come back here on the EKU Tailgate Show. We are live on a cold Saturday in Richmond, 41 degrees right now. It is football weather. No snow, I don't think, today like there was in Cleveland on Thursday night.
Man,
but
that was amazing.
It's going to be a lot of fun for Colonel fans and Lions fans that have made the trip as well. We'll talk about the matchup more when we come back on the EKU Tailgate Show.
We would like to invite you to join our family at Bishop's Small Engine Repair.
Outdoor power has become a family tradition, with 3 generations here bringing you years of experience.
We will help you find the best selection of outdoor power equipment from Code Cadet, Grasshopper, DeWalt, Makita, EKU, Shindawa, and now still in our Georgetown store.
Or bring your equipment into our service department. We will keep it running for years to come.
And as with all families, we have to keep Mama happy. So come on in and see us at Bishop's Small Engine Repair in Richmond and in Georgetown.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Whitaker Bank in Madison County is your local bank for convenience. With more branches than literally any other bank in Madison County, why go anywhere else? Whitaker Bank is known for their friendly customer service and easy access drive-thrus. Whitaker Bank, your home for local, friendly, family banking. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Granite, marble, and quartz for any surface. Make a lifetime commitment you won't regret.
Cars of Kentucky is a proud sponsor of Eastern Kentucky University Athletics. In Richmond, we bleed maroon. Go Colonels. And when you're ready for your next pre-owned automobile, swing on over to Cars of Kentucky. Cars of Kentucky has vehicles starting at $3,000 and up, so we literally have something for every budget. 356 Big Hill Avenue in Richmond, or check them out, carsofkentucky.com. Let's go Colonels!
To some, it's just a boat, but to Jim, it's his escape from meetings, traffic, and the grind of daily life. He may not catch any keepers, but he wouldn't trade his day on the lake for anything in the world. That's why his boat is insured by Kentucky Farm Bureau. But it's not just Kentucky's Farm Bureau. It's Jim's Recharge the Battery Farm Bureau.
My Farm Bureau.
David Mayo, John Rader, and Chris Hornsby with Kentucky Farm Bureau.
Back here on the EKU Tailgate Show. I forgot what show we were doing, Gage, but welcome you in. And it's a good day for football. It's going to be a little chilly, 41 degrees if you're coming out to cheer on the Colonels or the Lions for that matter. But if you are coming out, still plenty of time to get your tickets here at the booth right here, kind of close to us as we get you set for the game today. It is going to be senior day, honoring this senior class. And what a senior class it is, Coach, or Cuz. I mean, you look at just this senior class, which is, and a lot of these guys could have left. Mike Smith Jr. is one of the best players in FCS football. Ryan Jackson has made a living on wrecking havoc on offenses for quite some time. Peyton Collins, an offensive lineman, left tackle that could maybe even have picked what school he wanted to go to. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of guys like that have helped build this program. And after a season last year where they kind of had a bad taste in their mouth, where they had a lot of expectations that they did not follow through on, these guys came back, and with you sprinkle in some of these new players and some of these other seniors like Matt Morrissey and Joshua Carter, these guys are having a big season, and really down the stretch we've seen it. But Coach Wells loves this group of seniors that have really been a part of the program since he took over.
You know, every so often, a coach has the opportunity to bring in a star-bust group. every so often you have a group of athletes that you bring in, and in that particular class, you have the backbone of your program that is going to be instilled in them their whole 4 years.
Yeah.
It happens in high school. It happens in college. Even in the pros, sometimes they'll have a blockbuster year. And this here is a group that, like you say, Coach Wells is very close to. They came in about the same time. And over a period of time, he has seen these guys grow.
Yeah.
He's seen them mature. He's seen them become the athletes that they were brought here to be. And the wonderful thing about when you have a group like that is that when those guys help nurture and bring those other guys along as well. Because sometimes one of the problems that could exist when you have a great group of, say, freshmen come in, there's some upperclassmen's positions that might be threatened.
Yeah.
So chemistry is of great importance in situations like that. You know, I might come in and I might be on the verge of taking your spot, but that does not mean you and I still can't get along.
Yeah.
You and I still can't contribute with the same attitude and the same approach to us collectively being the best team that we can be.
Well,
and it's important that that chemistry is allowed to grow. And that goes back to your coaching.
Yeah,
Because your
for sure.
coaches, if a coach sees that there is a situation where now this guy's going to be challenging you, he has to recognize and bring it around the right way. And I think Coach Wells has done a great job with that.
Well, two things to that point. First of all, last week against Austin Peay, the first half was abysmal. I mean, they couldn't get anything
the tale
going.
of two halves.
And going into the locker room, Coach Wells said that he kind of watched his guys. Not that they were like moping around, but they were down on themselves. Like you could just tell they were so disappointed in how they played in that first half. And he said, you know, he talked to his staff, like, is this a situation where maybe I just let them kind of figure it out, or do I go in there and try to, you know, rah, let's get them going, let's fire them back up, and that type of thing. And that's what a head coach is supposed to do. That's your job to figure it out. And whatever he did, it clearly worked as they came back out and dominated that second half, got the game into overtime, and obviously won the football game. So that's one thing that I think proves that Coach Wells is the right guy for this job, because I said it a couple of weeks ago when you and I were here. They could have given up on the season.
Oh, yeah.
Before this 4-game winning streak, hopes of a postseason berth were slim to none. And they could have just melded in. Some of these guys that have draft potential could have just started preparing for the draft. They could have given up on the season, but they didn't. And I think a lot of that credit goes to Coach Wells, but also these young men. And we had Coach Ron on with us a couple of weeks ago, Ryan's dad. And, you know, parents like that and players like what we've seen here are a big reason why the Colonels are in the spot that they're in with a postseason berth. Now, potentially an option for the Colonels, especially if they get a big victory here today. But one of the other things that we talked to Coach Wells about was, who's the go-to guy for you? Like whenever you're seeing the team struggling, and maybe it's something that doesn't need to come from you, but it's from one of your players. Who are the guys? He said, Michael, he said, I've got a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it's those guys, Mike Smith Jr., Vito Tisdale, who transferred in, Ryan Jackson, Peyton Collins, guys that we've already mentioned. But these guys know when to step up and say what needs to be said. And some of them, while they might appear to be quiet, when they're in there with their teammates, they speak up. And that's very important.
It's very important, Michael. I think that, you know, you said a guy that might be quiet. Okay, there's nothing in this world that's more encouraging or more of a boost when here's a guy that has a somewhat of a quiet demeanor and doesn't say a lot, doesn't do a lot as far as rah-rah this, rah-rah that. Sometimes that guy that is that quiet, he goes out there, does his job type, his body language can say a lot in some situations where you look at this guy and you can tell, man, he's not the same. He's saying a lot, but not speaking.
Correct. Yeah.
And that can be a key to where guys are able to feed off of that. But I tell you one thing, last Saturday down in Clarksville, Coach Wells was a microwave man at halftime. He went in and he warmed them up.
Okay, all right, and that's what you need.
And you know what? You have to know.
Yeah.
You have to know when to
turn up the heat.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
And you know when to get up in his grill.
Yeah. He said there were some things he couldn't say on the broadcast with us on Monday.
And I'm not going to say them. I'm not going to say them on the air or in front of this young man. Yeah, but again, it's like the old you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Well, and Coach Wells obviously knows his players.
Yeah.
But I'll be when I played sports, I reacted or did better when a coach got up in me. Like when a coach was in my face, and there's ways of doing it, obviously, that can cross the line. But when you get up into a player, there are some players that react in a positive way, and there's some that just shut down. And Coach Wells knows which ones he can get up in, and he knows which ones that just need a pat on the back sometimes. And
those buttons, everybody has them. You just have to know. You have to know where an individual's buttons are.
Yeah.
And when you find that, and and everybody else might be sitting there thinking, whoa, man, look at how he's going up in him. But he knows that I've got a little farther to go, a little bit more, and then when I get there, he's going to go out there and do what I know he can do.
Well, that's why before every broadcast, I make Gage grab my shirt and yell at me, try to get me fired up before we go on the air. Yeah,
I remember Coach Kidd. Man, Coach Kidd.
I can only imagine.
Coach Kidd was on me. He would be on me like a cheap suit because I never was the athlete I could have been because I was just too laid back. I was too casually approaching the sport itself.
Yeah.
And he knew my ability. And sometimes, like I say, man, he was on me like a cheap suit. All over me.
And, nowadays, there's a lot of old-school coaches. I mean, you look at just some big names. Mike Krzyzewski in college basketball, Nick Saban in college football.
Yeah.
These big names that have seen now that the way they coached for 20, 30 years, you can't coach that way now. A lot of these kids just can't react to it the right way.
Man, it's a different breed. Some of these kids, especially with the system that we have now.
Correct.
You get up in some of these guys' face, man, and they'll just leave.
Yeah, that's the age that we're in too. You're like, you yelled at me, I'm entering the portal tomorrow.
I'm gone.
That's what happens.
I'm gone.
Well, let's hear from Coach Wells from this past Monday's Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, where we talked about this senior class and the game today, and that was part of our Mammoth Bar and Grill Sports Report, a little report that I do each weekday for the Live at 5 newscast that we run here on WBON-TV. Let's play that clip. And then we'll come back and we'll talk more about the matchup between the Colonels and the Lions today. It's senior day on campus. We'll be right back. We'll play this clip and then be back here on the EKU Tailgate Show.
We talked about that today. I mean, finishing is, talk about it most of the time pregame, in the locker room in different areas, just remind them of all the stuff they went through to get here. And, not just what we put them through, but in their life, people sacrificing, their mom driving them to practice when they're little and all the different things, because, that means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the game means a lot to everybody in that locker room. And it, don't go out there and don't fight to finish, and that's, we've kind of gone with a boxing theme here since Tarleton, and I think they've bought into that a little bit too. But, every boxing match has some form of a finish, and that's what we talk about. And it's good to see that we got to finish. We got to finish the season Saturday the right way, and it's a one-game mentality, 1-0 mentality, and that's what we're talking about this week. And fight to the finish. And it's been a long season. We've had injuries, and we have a few departures, not many, and just different things. We've had our ups and we've had our downs. I mean, we lose the first 2 games of the season, then we go on a 3-game streak, and then we lose 2 on the road to Southern Utah and Abilene, and people are writing us off, and that's fine. That's I don't listen to any of that.
No.
I mean, listen, there's got to be greater things to talk about than me. So I just worry about, are we doing what we need to do to be successful? And we've turned it around a little bit, and we've got to finish it the right way because that's what's important.
And the wins are happening at home.
And that's the big thing this week.
I mean, they're happening away, but at home.
Yeah, that was one of your goals, to finish the season, undefeated at Roy Kidd Stadium, and you got that in front of you
we
this
got
week.
that in front of us this week, and that's something that I hope is important, as important to them as it is to me, because I want everybody when they come into Roy Kidd Stadium expect to win, like it says, and I want the opponents to not enjoy coming there because of the atmosphere. And at our Central Arkansas game, Kentucky was off, and we had a lot of things going on. We had a tremendous crowd.
Yeah.
And we had tremendous support, and you could hear them at the end of the game when they were making that last drive, and I think it affected them. And so, we need that again this Saturday. And first of all, our 21 seniors deserve that.
Yep. Yeah.
They've gone through a lot here. They came here under COVID, and a lot of them did.
Yeah.
Especially the high school kids. And
that's why this class is so special to you, right?
And this is the first one. Peyton Collins is the only one that was here before me, and Peyton was here. He redshirted in 19, and then he's been here the 5 years and played all 5 years. And I think they said today he had 55 starts. And, him and Mike got one invitation to an all-star game today, which we'll announce later on if they decide to play in it. And which
Mike Smith.
Yeah.
Mike Smith Jr. And so, it's special to see those things happening. And, I hadn't coached a game without Peyton Collins at left tackle. And so, it's going to be a special moment to see him and his family and go through all that. And, Peyton had opportunities to leave. Mike probably had opportunities to leave, and they all do. But they created their value here. And we talk about that a lot. How are you creating your value? And I hope that they understand that their value don't stop Saturday,
Yeah.
Hopefully the season doesn't stop Saturday, but you know what I mean. I hope it doesn't at the end of this season. I hope they don't realize that their value here in Richmond doesn't stop. It just keeps growing and increasing, and they want to come back and be a part of the EKU and Richmond community. And that doesn't mean they have to live here and all that, but always have a special place where they want to come back and be a part of. And, it's like I talked to them. If you win, that's even more special. And unfortunately, that's how it is. And you can sit there, well, that's not right. No, that's how it is.
Yeah.
The world loves winners. And if you can win and have a chance to come back, and people will remember what you did, and hopefully you'll show your children where you did it, and those type of things. So, I hope special moments, for those guys are there for them.
To everyone out there who loves Culver's,
the feeling is mutual.
Everything's made fresh.
Everything.
It's our pleasure.
This is me and my happy place.
I wouldn't trade our Culver's for any other restaurant.
Culver's.
Yay!
We love our guests.
Love.
As much as our guests love us.
This is me and my happy place.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
At the Botany Bay, you can find things you like to do stuff with. From mellow evenings to euphoric adventures, we've got what you need to keep it cosmic, dude. And we're not the only thing high. This month's savings are through the roof. We got silicone pipes 20% off, disc golf and bags 15% off, select disposables up to 50% off. On top of all that, we're clearing out our hookah inventory and so much more. Get all the cool stuff you need at our Lexington and Richmond locations. The Botany Bay. Elevate your day the fun way.
Your vehicle's safety and integrity depend on its windows, which means a small crack can lead to big problems. Whether it's a repair or a replacement, the experts at Aero Auto Glass can have your car's windows looking like new in no time. With mobile service available in Lexington, Richmond, and surrounding areas, you can have your car serviced close to home. If you have damaged auto glass, call the professionals at Aero Auto Glass, 866-975-4527.
Excel Auto Care, your complete car care center, has been in business over 26 years. They are a great option for all the best brands of tires. They do transmission work. They'll work on your engine from top to bottom, no matter how complex the issue. And they always have their brake special, which is $279.99 for brakes and rotors on most vehicles. At Excel Auto Care, 245 North Keeneland Drive in Richmond, we offer discounts to Eastern students and our veterans.
When perfect is in the air, you can feel it. Presenting the new Ultimate Comfort System from Lennox, the most advanced heating and air conditioning system ever.
Call 859-779-0122 now and get the best Lennox home comfort systems at a price you'll love. That's affordable heating and air at 859-779-0122 or online at affordableheating-air.com.
When big flavor and great value get together, you know it's Sonny's. And with our Pick of the Pit combos, you can make your perfect plate with pick 2 or pick 3 meats, 2 sides, and bread. Or let us pick for you with options like the savory pork and rib combo. Less skimping on the barbecue you're craving? That's just one more reason why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
Back here on the EKU Tailgate Show, and before the commercial break there, we were talking about Coach Wells, and we heard from him there, and about just leadership and coaching and how it plays an important role in society that you might not think about, Coach, but we learned some of our biggest life lessons from people that were coaches of us, and even Tad was talking about, coaches that have kind of helped lead him in the right direction at such a young age as well.
Yeah, I was a high school swimmer. Swam all throughout my career. Started in 7th grade all the way up to my senior year. I also did marching band in high school. Today is actually marching colonel for a day for our marching band here at EKU. Marching bands from around the state, from high schoolers from around the state, come to march with the marching colonels. But back to my high school swimming career, our coach was he drilled in, respect. He demanded that kind of respect for the athletes. And, with me, he said, if you feel like you can't do something, you're wrong. You can do it. He pushed you as hard as he could. My coach was Brian Duncan. He was absolutely amazing. It was a fun time.
I've always wondered, when you really look at, say, a marching band, it takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of preparation.
That's hard work.
It looks like it is, especially when you're in a program.
Can you play an instrument at all? Did you ever play an instrument at all?
No, I never did. But just I can appreciate what they do, because when you are in a precision-oriented situation, it takes discipline to get that away. No, I've never played an instrument.
Well, I took guitar lessons when I was in middle school, maybe younger in high school, and just the time. I did it for a year or so, and I can't even tell you now how to do the chords. But that's how dedicated you have to be.
You ever heard me sing?
No, I don't want my ears to hurt though.
You've never heard me sing.
I bet you could sing. You got that voice.
Oh,
man.
he got a beautiful voice. I've heard him.
All right, go ahead and break us out a tune here.
I can't sing.
He's just trying to be friendly.
What's your go-to? You got a go-to song?
I was just kidding with you. I was just messing with you.
You sing
us a Christmas carol or something, man?
No, I've done opened up Pandora's box. I was just kidding.
But I tell you what, though.
No, everybody sings in a choir.
Yeah,
but of course, getting up there and doing some type of a solo or this or that.
I grew up doing that. I sang. We talked about singing in church. Stuff.
I also used to sing in church when I was little, all the time.
Well, here in a couple of weeks, we're going to be. I love some karaoke. You get me over at Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
Get me on stage.
Well,
yeah. I'll have to bring you over one night when I'm going over there to do karaoke.
We'll do that.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm over at Galaxy quite a lot. Yeah. I love bowling.
I love bowling, but the karaoke's where it's at, man. You got to go over there and let you. I got a few go-to karaoke songs
out there across from the eating place.
Golden Corral.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
let's take one more commercial break. We'll pay some bills, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the Colonels. 10.5-point favorites today, an over-under of 51.5. So a lot of points predicted. We'll see if that cold weather plays a factor into that as these two teams get ready to kick off. In about 45 minutes or so, kickoff is set to take place here at Roy Kidd Stadium. We'll be right back. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the EKU Tailgate Show.
We would like to invite you to join our family at Bishop's Small Engine Repair.
Outdoor power has become a family tradition, with 3 generations here bringing you years of experience.
We will help you find the best selection of outdoor power equipment from Code Cadet, Grasshopper, DeWalt, Makita, Echo, Shindawa, and now Steel in our Georgetown store.
Or bring your equipment into our service department. We will keep it running for years to come.
And as with all families, we have to keep Mama happy. So come on in and see us at Bishop's Small Engine Repair in Richmond and in Georgetown.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best fajitas in town. Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Whitaker Bank in Madison County is your local bank for convenience. With more branches than literally any other bank in Madison County, why go anywhere else? Whitaker Bank is known for their friendly customer service and easy access drive-thrus. Whitaker Bank, your home for local, friendly, family banking. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Granite, marble, and quartz for any surface. Make a lifetime commitment you won't regret.
Cars of Kentucky is a proud sponsor of Eastern Kentucky University Athletics. In Richmond, we bleed maroon. Go Colonels. And when you're ready for your next pre-owned automobile, swing on over to Cars of Kentucky. Cars of Kentucky has vehicles starting at $3,000 and up, so we literally have something for every budget. 356 Big Hill Avenue in Richmond, or check them out, carsofkentucky.com. Let's go Colonels!
To some, it's just a boat. But to Jim, it's his escape from meetings, traffic, and the grind of daily life. He may not catch any keepers, but he wouldn't trade his day on the lake for anything in the world. That's why his boat is insured by Kentucky Farm Bureau. But it's not just Kentucky's Farm Bureau. It's Jim's Recharge the Battery Farm Bureau. My Farm Bureau.
David Mayo, John Rader, and Chris Hornsby with Kentucky Farm Bureau.
To everyone out there who loves Culver's,
The feeling is mutual.
Everything's made fresh.
everything.
Everything.
It's our pleasure.
This is me and my happy place.
I wouldn't trade our Culvers for any other restaurant.
Culver's.
We love our guests.
Love.
Love.
As much as our guests love us.
This is me and my happy place.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
At the Botany Bay, you can find things you like to do stuff with. From mellow evenings to euphoric adventures, we've got what you need to keep it cosmic, dude. And we're not the only thing high. This month's savings are through the roof. We got silicone pipes 20% off, disc golf and bags 15% off, select disposables up to 50% off. On top of all that, we're clearing out our hookah inventory and so much more. Get all the cool stuff you need at our Lexington and Richmond locations. The Botany Bay. Elevate your day the fun way.
Back here on the EKU Tailgate Show, we're live on the flagship station for Colonel Sports, 100.7 The Coyote, and also live here on WBON-TV 9. Glad to have you tuned in, and we're hoping we've got one more of these at least, Howard, as we come at you hopefully next week for a postseason game, but final regular season game today between the Colonels and North Alabama. And when you look at this game, a 51.5 over-under. And I think a lot of times whenever you're an athlete, you go out there, and especially for EKU, they've been playing all over the UAC, and even here at home, the weather has been on their side. There's been a couple of rainouts, or not rainouts, but like games where they've had rain and delays and things like that. But it's always been at least warm, even when the rain was coming down. Temperature-wise, from where we were 2 weeks ago, it is a lot different. And I think even last week at Austin Peay, the weather wasn't nearly as cold as it is here today in Richmond.
No, it's not. And the thing about it is talking about those numbers, over, under, this or that, you know, that's the last thing a coach wants his players to start looking at.
Yeah, yep.
Because those writers, the sports people, the people doing all of the analyzing and this and that, you know, when that ball is kicked off today here at 2 o'clock. You will know within the first couple of minutes on the first drive or two, you'll know who came to play.
Yeah.
Because for this team coming in here today, it will make their season to knock us out of any chance at a playoff. This is their Super Bowl. And it should be the same for us, which I think they're looking at it that way. But you just don't want to get caught up as an athlete. You don't want to get caught up in the numbers. You don't want to do that.
Well, real quick, I wanted to look at the guaranteed spots right now for FCS football. You've got UC Davis, Idaho, Montana, Rhode Island, Southeast Missouri State, Duquesne, and there are a couple of looking at the NCAA.com website, they've got a list of how they think the automatic qualifiers are already in there, obviously, but, winning in, what you need to do to get a victory. And as far as the UAC goes, rolling down here to the conference that the Colonels are in, Central Arkansas is one of these bubble teams we talked about. EKU, one of these bubble teams that we're talking about, and Southern Utah. So there's 3 teams in the UAC still kind of on the bubble, if you will, with a potential spot in the postseason. For EKU, they have a case for with a win today, a case for with a win. EKU only has 2 FCS losses to Southern Utah and Abilene Christian, both conference losses. The Colonels will have won 5 straight games if they win today, entering the postseason, with 2 ranked wins over Tarleton State and Central Arkansas. Late season momentum gets EKU into the postseason. Then they have a case against with the win. So should the Colonels win today, even with the win, why they might not make it? Head-to-head matters. And Southern Utah beat EKU head-to-head 42-21. That's a big win, a big difference there. If Eastern Kentucky is in contention for the playoffs, then Southern Utah has to be as well. If the committee values that head-to-head game, now EKU is down 1 spot on the bubble. And with a less than spectacular non-conference schedule, that may not be enough to get the Colonels in. They have a case for with the loss. So even with the loss today, they're giving you a case for why EKU might make it. Even with the loss, EKU will only have 3 FCS losses. The Colonels should get one of the final bubble spots over a 4 FCS loss team. And then they have a case against with a loss. A loss to North Alabama is a bad loss. Combine that with a lukewarm non-conference schedule and even a pair of ranked wins in November can't get the Colonels into the postseason. So what EKU needs to do today, Howard, we talked about it, win it. You got to win. You cannot lose this game today if you have any hopes of being in the postseason. You got to get a victory today. It's uber important because a loss pretty much might end the season today.
Oh yeah, and it has to be an impressive win.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not just a win. We need an impressive win today because there's, as the information you just read off there, there's several teams that are looking to get in with a win.
Yeah.
And so the factor that might separate us from some of them or them from us is how well do you win? How big a win is it?
Well, the other 2 teams from our conference on the bubble are Central Arkansas, who plays at Tarleton State, and that's going to be a heavy favorite for Tarleton, and Utah Tech and Southern Utah, and Utah Tech's won 1 game all year long.
Yeah.
Southern Utah has a chance to, obviously, they should win that game because they're at home. So you'd almost mark up a victory for Southern Utah, but Central Arkansas, that's going to be a tough game for them to come out and win today. So we'll see what happens around the UAC. Obviously, Abilene Christian's already in. They've earned the automatic qualifier no matter what happens today with them and Stephen F. Austin. Austin P in a non-conference game against Chattanooga today. That's the other games today in the UAC. We'll take our final commercial break. When we come back, we'll maybe give a prediction or so on the game today. I'll tell you what I think will happen when we come back here on the EKU Tailgate Show on the flagship station for Colonel Sports, 100.7 The Coyote and WBON-TV.
Your vehicle's safety and integrity depend on its windows, which means a small crack can lead to big problems. Whether it's a repair or a replacement, the experts at Aero Auto Glass can have your car's windows looking like new in no time. With mobile service available in Lexington, Richmond, and surrounding areas, you can have your car serviced close to home. If you have damaged auto glass, Call the professionals at Aero Auto Glass, 866-975-4527.
Excel Auto Care, your complete car care center, has been in business over 26 years. They are a great option for all the best brands of tires. They do transmission work. They'll work on your engine from top to bottom, no matter how complex the issue. And they always have their brake special, which is $279.99 for brakes and rotors on most vehicles. At Excel Auto Care, 245 North Keeneland Drive in Richmond, we offer discounts to Eastern students and our veterans.
When perfect is in the air, you can feel it. Presenting the new Ultimate Comfort System from Lennox, the most advanced heating and air conditioning system ever.
Call 859-779-0122 now and get the best Lennox home comfort systems at a price you'll love. That's affordable heating and air at 859-779-0122 or online at affordableheating-air.com.
When big flavor and great value get together, you know it's Sonny's. And with our Pick of the Pit combos, you can make your perfect plate with pick 2 or pick 3 meats, 2 sides, and bread. Or let us pick for you with options like the savory pork and rib combo. Less skimping on the barbecue you're craving? That's just one more reason why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
We would like to invite you to join our family at Bishop's Small Engine Repair.
Outdoor Power has become a family tradition, with 3 generations here bringing you years of experience.
We will help you find the best selection of outdoor power equipment from Co-Cadet, Grasshopper, DeWalt, Makita, EKU, Shindawa, and now still in our Georgetown store.
Or bring your equipment into our service department. We will keep it running for years to come.
And as with all families, we have to keep Mama happy. So come on in and see us at Bishop's Small Engine Repair in Richmond and in Georgetown.
Back here on the EKU Tailgate Show, Michael Watkins along with Howard Miller. First of all, man, I wanted to say I know that this hopefully isn't our last show, but if it is, it has been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you this season. I've had a lot of fun and doing these tailgate shows here at home, and you know the people that we've brought on, and I really appreciate you coming on with me this year and joining in on all the fun of really promoting this program and promoting the team and just you know the university as a whole.
Well, you know. I think it was a couple of broadcasts ago we was talking about, you know, my having had the opportunity to play for Coach Kidd and the program, and then being one of the character coaches for the program. And then this, to me, has been a different dimension, seeing it from this angle. Yeah. As Tab was talking about earlier, behind the camera, so to speak. So it's been something that it's been a really amazing experience that I have really not only enjoyed, but I have appreciated having the opportunity to see again from a different dimension this program that I love so much. And I want to thank you.
Well, hey, man, look, I got a new friend, Gage. I got a new buddy. Me and Howard, I'm going to make him buy lunch whenever you tell me no, maybe I can talk him into it. But
it ain't going to happen. it ain't going to happen.
This game today, man, I'm excited because I think, you and I talked about it, I think it'll be one where we come out and we start off hot and we can just continue to – I mean, this could be a game where we score 35 or so points. I really do think we can come out and kind of put the hammer down, establish some dominance, and show why we deserve that postseason bid. It's EKU North Alabama. I think Colonels win 35-20 is my prediction for the game today.
I think we're going to score 33 points, and we're going to give up 14.
Okay, there you go. Hey, we'll take that. That's covering the spread.
What you got?
What do you think, Tad?
Ooh. 31-20.
I like it. And that's right there, too. That's what, Vegas is good for a reason. So thanks for joining us all year long, folks,
buddy.
on the EKU Tailgate Show, and our producer, Gage Shield, and Jaden Johnson. Colonels in North Alabama about 30 minutes away from kickoff. We'll see you next time on EKU Tailgate Show. For Howard Millard, Michael Watkins, and all of us, good luck to the Colonels today.